Let's begin by telling you about the situation in Canada. Parts of the Canadian province of British Columbia are under a state of emergency after an unrelenting downpour triggered widespread flooding and mudslides across the area. The unprecedented flooding has claimed one life so far. Officials fear that the number could rise. Several people across Canada's west coast have also been reported missing.
Last few days have been incredibly difficult for British Columbians as we've experienced yet another natural disaster. Heavy rains, strong winds, flooding have devastated entire communities of our province. Thousands of people have been forced from their homes under evacuation orders, and many others were left stranded between road closures and mudslides. Yesterday, the RCMP confirmed the mudslides have claimed at least one life. That's devastating news for a family. It's devastating news for all British Columbians. But sadly, we expect to confirm even more fatalities in the coming days.
Search crews are working alongside the military. They have deployed heavy equipment. The dog teams continued their search for survivors after bad weather conditions hampered rescue efforts. In the wake of the disaster, authorities have deployed the Canadian Air Force to help with the rescue operations. Earlier in the day, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau issued an address and said that his government is doing everything that it can to support the people of British Columbia through this difficult time.
I can confirm there are hundreds of Canadian Armed Forces members currently headed to British Columbia to help with everything from supplies to evacuation to whatever is needed. There are thousands more on standby. We will continue to work closely with the province, with Indigenous leaders, with community leaders to make sure that we are doing everything we can to support the people of British Columbia through this incredibly difficult time.
The massive floods and mudslides also severed access to the country's largest port in Vancouver, disrupting the global supply chains that are already struggling to deal with problems caused by the pandemic. Experts fear that the disaster could be one of the most expensive in Canadian history. Some towns are more vulnerable to damage and devastation given their geography. There is limited access to those regions as the temperature continues to dip. There are reports now of trapped residents and food starting to run low in remote areas of the country, as volunteers organize helicopter drops of food.
Please do not hoard items. What you need, your neighbors need as well. We are confident that we can restore our supply chains in a quick and orderly manner, provided we all act as we have been acting over the past 2 years, responding to challenges like this in a collaborative, cooperative way to make sure that everyone can come through this in one piece. These are very challenging times. I don't need to say that I've been at this dais over the past 2 years talking about the challenges we've faced. Unprecedented challenges with public health, wildfires, heat domes, and now debilitating floods that we have never seen before.
The severe downpour has left thousands of people displaced. Around 8,000 people were forced to leave their homes and rush to safety in the town of Abbotsford.
It's just the worst flooding that I've ever seen. I come from an area built of floodplains and a city built in the middle of it. But, you know, this is quite significant here. It affects a lot of people, and it's really disheartening to see it.
Everybody's pretty concerned around here. My daughter called me, was in tears, wanted us to leave, worried about the area. So far, we seem like we're okay, but we're right at the edge of it. But it's pretty bad for a lot of people out there. It's not good.
This area here was absolutely chaotic yesterday. Absolutely everything was underwater. The street was flooded out. There was motorboats flying around in the park. It was just completely unreal.
Although it was hard to deal with their own personal and financial loss, the people of Abbotsford, however, did their bit to save stray camels stray cattle, that is, from the flooding. Visuals on your screen now show residents using jet ski and boats to rescue cattle in flooded British Columbia.